All good. Right. John, lads. Jonathan. What would you prefer, actually?
John's fine. Jonathan's too long.
Jonathan is too long, to be fair.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is. I absolutely prefer John.
Yeah.
But John, the man behind Baltic Management, also working with Studio Funk as well. And from what we spoke about, what we will get into, you sound like an interesting guy, I'm not going to lie, with all the agent work. Yeah. But so, John, for people that don't know you, or have never seen you before, bit about yourself, like what do you do, and anything along them lines, just a little intro.
Yeah, so what I do in terms of jobs, so I run a company called Baltic Management. So Baltic Management is a talent and management agency. So we represent people within film, TV, theatre, and then we're going into the music and comedy side of things as well. So it's really just, so everything that you see on the TV, if you want to go to the West End, all those type of shows, I'm the person that basically gets them jobs. Well, I mean, I can't take all the credit because they do the auditions, but
you're that guy that builds the path.
I'm a guy that basically gets them seen by these casting agents and hopefully secures them the jobs.
How long have you been doing Baltic Management for?
So started Baltic Management originally 2019. So we had we've always wanted to create a sort of a boutique agency. And the reason being is, so I came from an acting background. So I've had a fair share of run-ins. We're applying for agencies and going to meetings with agents, and everyone always seems to aim for these big agencies in like Manchester and London. And to be honest, a lot of those agents, even though they are really big agencies, and just because they get other people jobs doesn't mean they get sort of you a job. They've got people who are sort of high profile on the books.
Yeah.
That's who they're sort of going to focus on.
Yeah.
So it was one of them where you might get one audition with them, and then you might not hear from them for like a couple of months or maybe a year or something along the lines. So what we wanted to do is create something sort of boutique and small where everyone sort of gets that personal sort of management. It's more of a family feel agency.
I like that.
Sort of
like the idea.
Corporate style. But the reason we want to create something small is because we can actually put the time and effort into each individual client that we've got. So that was sort of the aim in 2019. We had around 25 clients on the books. So people were going to auditions nearly every week. We had people in cruise ship contracts on UK tours, things like Pepsi commercials, everything going really well. And then COVID hit. So it's sort of, for the first few weeks, everything was still going ahead. And then obviously the world just come to a standstill. Everyone who was in jobs sort of lost them. All the jobs that we had lined up basically didn't happen. And then it got to the point where the whole sort of, well, I know the sort of world came to a standstill, but the sort of casting and TV industry was just non-existent. So we had to sort of come to the conclusion that the best thing to do was, well, especially for me, was to obviously just fold the agency and then get a normal 9-to-5 job. So that's what I've done for during COVID, and it's always been in the back, like sort of in the back of my mind, that I wanted to get the agency back up and running again. But it was just sort of the right time. And then, I think sort of, I'd say about a month ago, a month and a half, is when we actually got the agency back up and running again.
Nice.
So it's, to be honest, it's sort of hit the ground running in terms of clientele. But what we're doing now is it's a slow season. So Christmas season's always slow, pantos and things like that. So what we're doing now is putting all the foundations in place, ready to basically, hope, fingers crossed, hit the ground running in January.
How come pantos and all that around at this period of time of the year, it's always quite slow? Because you expect it to pick up because there's going to be more performances on the go, especially like a panto, like you did just say. Yeah,
so because when we started the agency, because we were still building the clientele up, if this was sort of this time next year, we'd probably have clients in panto. So we'd have people in work. But because we sort of didn't have anybody to sort of at the time to put into pantos, people either basically are already so clients that we've already signed are already either doing panto because they already signed a contract and audition before they joined the agency, or now it's sort of we've missed the cut-off date for castings because it sort of gets done months ago.
No,
but then in terms of the film and TV side, you have a Christmas break. So in terms of like Christmas episodes and New Year's Eve episodes, they've already been filmed. So they've already been done. So everyone has a long December break, and then everyone sort of hits the ground running again come January. Is when everything sort of, as soon as January 1st, this whole casting industry just opens back up.
Basically, it's like the January transfer window in a sense.
Literally, yeah. But it's great because there's you go from sort of maybe at the moment sort of looking at 15, 20 castings a day to 50 to 100 every single day of submitting people. So at least people have got that chance to get seen. Yeah. Which is good.
How far do you actually want to take Baltic Management?
So in terms of...
Because I know you said that you wanted to be like quite family orientated and quite small personal, but if the chance came to come bigger, do you reckon that would like intrigue you to go for it?
The goal would be to be one of the biggest talent and management agencies in the UK. Because in terms of if we've got the clientele and we put the work in for these people and people start to get these jobs on the telly and get these West End shows and things, that's when we start to get a much bigger name for ourselves because we're doing our job and we're doing something right, and that's where people will start going, I want to be with Baltic Management. And that's sort of, I'd say the aim is to become sort of just one of the biggest agencies in the UK. And that, one of the agencies that people sort of, like, for instance, graduates, they do, you do 3 years of drama school. So you end a third year, you do a graduate showcase, and agents get invited to the showcase to basically scout talent. I'd want us to be the agency that, every drama school wants
to work,
and wants to work with. Would be the end goal. That would be nice, but I'd still say, in terms of if it grew a lot bigger, then we could take on more people in terms of different agents and take on more staff and things like that, and then we'd be able to manage a completely more bigger and wider clientele. So if it did happen, then we could prepare for and be ready for it.
Yeah, because just to be, how can I say it? When it comes down to acting and stuff like that, where we were touching up before, and you're saying like you've got it or you don't. When it comes to like agency and like Baltic Market, is that more about you're good at your job or you graft and you get the work in like that? How does it work for you?
So I think it's more. I think people are going to judge how good we are by the sort of the work that our clients are in. Yeah, that's how. So if nobody's getting auditions, nobody's getting jobs, I mean, if it was me, I wouldn't apply for that agency because you're going to think, well, what's going on here? No one is even in work. Yeah. But it all comes down, you are literally grafting. It's not a 9-to-5 job. You're constantly on your phone, you're constantly on your laptop. You're working early mornings, late evenings, weekends, but you thrive off it because in order for you to be successful, you need your actors to be successful. And in terms of sort of like making a living and things like that, if you don't put the work in, you're not going to make any money. Yeah. So you when you think about it like that, you're willing to put the work in, and you get a buzz as well off when someone gets an audition or someone gets a job. It's like a sense of like in your head, you're like, well done. Yeah.
For you, doesn't it not feel like work at times because even though it's you that's got to put all these hours in, but it's because something that you want to do? Do you get days where it doesn't feel like work? It just feels like this is my life at the minute.
It's more of a lifestyle than work. It doesn't feel like when you get up for work sometimes you're like, oh, I can't do what I'm going in today. You can't wait to open the laptop up again because you get excited when you see castings come up, especially for like big sort of stuff that and you do get that buzz off it and the excitement. So it really isn't like going to work. It is just like a lifestyle. And to be fair, they say when you find something a job that you love, it's not a job.
No, it's not at all. Like, even doing this, so like, I know this is the 5th episode so far, but we've done another fella before, so this is our first double booking of one day. But it doesn't feel like work. It feels like getting together with my mates.
It's
and
we're
just
getting to... You enjoy it as well.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's why it's an enjoyment. Because I think I'd be in the wrong job if I didn't enjoy it.
You know you're in the wrong job though, aren't you, as well?
And especially when you're sort of making a business that's yours, I think
you've made your own...
It's something that you're passionate about, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like you've made your own baby, lad, and you're going to take care of it, and you're going to make sure it gets everything that you can give it.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you want it to do well.
Do you reckon you could see yourself doing this for like a long, long time?
Yeah. I mean, like, in terms of sort of, I'd hope for the sort of the rest of me... the rest of my life, I'll be able to sort of keep building it and building it and building it, and sort of, like you say, nurturing your baby.
Yeah.
But I mean, unless we come to a standstill again, that's the only time I could see me not doing it. But there's literally nothing that could probably stop me from doing it at all.
Yeah. Going back to the standstill before, when you said about COVID, how did that like feel for you? Obviously, COVID happened. All right, still got a bit of work going, and then boom, lockdown happens. All world comes to a standstill. What was going through your head at that time?
I think it's sort of... I think it didn't really hit, because I think a lot of people were still sort of in that state of confusion of what's going on, and then it was like, it's only going to be 2 weeks, or it's only going to be 4 weeks. Let's just wait it out, and then 4 weeks come, and then it was 8 weeks, and then 12 weeks, and then it was just like, what do we do from here? And then it sort of, it was guttering when you had to send that email to all of your clientele and sort of say you're letting them go and you're closing down the agency, because you felt like everything that you've achieved to that point was just a waste. Like, you just, especially when you go into a normal 9-to-5 job again, it was just like, like, is this really happening? Everything you've built up and put into it, and it was just gone within the blink of an eye. So I think that's why the drive and determination's always been there, but it was just waiting for the right time to get it back up and running again. And now, honestly, it's like, I say waiting for the right time. It was just more like, you know, when you sort of, that something pops in your head and you're like, yeah, now let's do it. And one day it just, again, it was like, okay, now's the time to do the agency again. And to be honest, it's hit the ground running more this time than it did last time. Do
you feel like first time was like a test, and when you look back at it now, getting used to it, knowing what you need to do, all right, time away, got time to think, and now thinking, all right, I know I can do all this, I can do A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, but now it's like, all right, I can now go and try and poach them because I know how to poach and stuff like that.
I think the first, so I was doing it so I sort of left school at 16 and went into an apprenticeship working for a production company.
Yeah.
And that's where I learnt everything in terms of the business side of the industry, like the castings and the management and running shows and etc. So I think the first time round, it was putting into practice everything that you learnt off somebody else, ironing out basically all the dots.
Yeah.
But then this time round, the knowledge was always there. I knew what I was doing. Like, the foundations was already in place. It was just this time. I think the only thing we had to do this time, because the business was still incorporated, the name was still there, the logos and everything else. It was just now building a new clientele. And to be honest, the actors and sort of artists that we got on the books within these 2 months, it's sort of, I sat on the couch the other day and was like, how have we got these people?
Yeah.
Because like a lot of the first time round, it was more like we focused on graduates and people coming out of drama school. And this time round, we've got people who are already sort of established actors and people that you've probably already seen on TV and things. So it's hit the ground running, and I'm grateful for it. And I think it's just going to go bigger and better from here.
Yeah, because you're saying that you've already had people on TV, and obviously we spoke about it before, but the people behind the camera haven't heard it. What shows and what films, programs, stuff like that have you actually got people onto to give them a bit of insight?
Yeah, so in terms of so we're working currently with the BBC at the moment, doing a lot of self-tapes for a drama that's currently being filmed in the city. we've got one of our actors is in Power.
Yeah.
Is in Sky series FBI, Law and Order Special Victims Unit. So really sort of well-known TV dramas and series and sort of you, without even realising, you will, if you watched it back and now you've seen the face, you know exactly the characters that they play.
Yeah.
And it's quite it's fun for me because the guy that we've got who's in sort of Power, I recognise his face, but I didn't know where from.
Yeah.
And then I seen him in Power, I was like, yeah, now I know. I remember where you came from. Yeah.
So a lot of people that you're now getting in, it's sounding like they've already had the show. So the Power, he's already been in Power. Just to clarify it, so he's been in Power and then came to work with you. Yeah. Have you had anyone else like that, or have you had them and then they've had their break?
So there's so in terms of we've got a mixture. So we've got artists who have been in sort of quite a good few roles. So we've got people who have been in things like the Mamma Mia musical in the West End. The guy who's obviously in Power. So it's a mixture of people who've already got quite a good few credits, and then also people who have got credits but not sort of as established as those. But again, to be honest, it doesn't matter whether you've been in Power or whether you just come out of drama school, because when you're sort of going for the auditions, it's not about what your credits, it's not about what's on sort of your casting CV. It's about your ability and how well you do the role. So even somebody who's on the telly, or somebody who's in Coronation Street now, might go for a role with somebody who's just left drama school, and the person who's just left drama school will get the role, because it's all about sort of how well they look on screen. Do they fit the part? Who plays the part better? And so it comes down to a lot of different things. So credits look really good, and fair play for for the jobs that you might have got so far. But in terms of it doesn't make you. It's not going to put you further to get a role than somebody else who might not have had any credits at all. If that makes sense.
Do you feel like you come across more credits to people, or more people like coming out to graduates and stuff like that, where the ability is quite different?
Yeah, and I think it's more people who are coming out fresh out of drama school as well. It not easier to manage, but they want an agent. They want jobs. They're hungry. Sometimes you'll find people who've already got the credits. They'll want to go for massive agencies, which is understandable, and they, because of the credits they've got. But like I say, we all have access to the same jobs. Yeah, we're all putting each other up for the same roles. So it's just you put the same amount of work in for somebody who's just come out of drama school as somebody who's just might be in Coronation Street. Nobody gets special treatment. Everyone's treated the same and managed the same.
That's the best way to go about it, though, because like what you were saying before, we said about the family thing. You've got to treat everyone the same, haven't you? Yeah. Like, say for instance, though, hypothetically, you did get a big name, and so we were talking before about like Jodie Coleman and like Stephen Graham. Say you did get one of them come in. Yeah. Would they get the exact same treatment as everyone else?
Because let's say I cast them come out, and they basically said the age, they put on appearance, nationality, etc. So let's say you had Stephen Graham on the books. You might have Stephen Graham on the books, but then you've got another actor who also suits that part. Yeah. So you're not just going to put Stephen Graham up. I'm also going to put the other actors up as like if they fit that role, they're getting put up for that job. Yeah. Whether you're a name or not, it's because it doesn't matter. Sometimes, don't get me wrong, sometimes you'll get castings where they do want star names.
Yeah, I can understand that as well. Yeah.
But if they're not looking for stars, but you put the stars up for it, and all your other clients as well, because everyone's treated equal. Nobody gets special treatment.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, like I said, so let's just stick with Stephen Graham. He was one of them who never had a name for himself, kind of thing, but he was a pure talent. Yeah. And for all you know, you could be putting up the next Stephen Graham.
And that's exactly it, because that's people. In order to become like Stephen Graham, you've got to put everybody up for these jobs, and that's how people get known. Because if you think about it, Stephen Graham, back when he first started, no one knew who was Stephen Graham. It took him to get his first role, for them to get noticed, and that's what we're doing sort of with all our clients. You just need that one role that could set you off for life.
Yeah.
And even if you get like a part in like a soap, but you get a long running part in a soap and you're in it for a couple of years, that's your career for the rest of your life. So it just takes one big break.
Back to before then, so we were talking about COVID, because obviously the topics that you want to talk about today. Did COVID have a proper detrimental impact on you as a person, where you thought, got to shut down the agency, and then after it, got to go to a 9 to 5? Did you feel like everything just went backwards?
Yeah.
Yeah, because even I got to that stage as well.
It was the sense of, you just felt lost.
Yeah.
Like, what am I doing with my life now? Like you felt like you went from sort of having a purpose and you saw a vision for the future, to then nothing, and it was just like, what am I going to do with my life type thing. Which I think happened for a lot of people as well, because obviously people sort of lost hope, like lost their jobs and lost homes and everything else. But I think adding all of the other elements on top of the, like, how are you going to pay for your house? Like, how are you going to afford food? How are you going to afford all your bills? And you just felt like everything was just building on top of you. And it was just, I just felt like I just had I just not lost my identity, but I just felt like everything I've worked for up to this point was just.
It sounds like you're half lost, like what your purpose was. The purpose that you had and you were driving for and you were going for just came to a stop, and you're like, like, what now? Yeah,
and that's what it was. It was a what now moment.
Yeah. How long did that hinder you?
Well, to be honest, I think sort of. So, I'd say, in terms of when the agency folds and everything else, I think going into lockdown. I think it was just from them for 2 years. It was just like that affected my I'd say those 2 years affected me mentally, badly.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know. I got to the point where I just burst out crying for no reason, and I you'd feel like you just didn't want to be here no more. And I'll be honest, it got to the point where I did do something stupid. I ended up in hospital because something came over me, and I did try and take my own life because I just felt lost. It was just, you felt like it was like this dark sort of weight, and the hole was just like on your shoulders, and you it's so hot. At the time, it was like you're not in control of your own body, your state of mind.
Yeah.
And you felt like it was the only, for some stupid reason, you felt like the only way to stop it, because it was like literally you were just getting swallowed into the ground, and the only way out was to do that. But looking back, it's stupid that I'd done it. But at the same time, I now realise that I didn't do it because I didn't want to be it anymore. There's other ways that I could have gone about it, but I'd done it because that was my way of asking for help.
Okay, yeah, okay.
I know it's a drastic way of doing it, but I felt like I couldn't ask for help. I felt like I had even though I had people. When you're in that state of mind, you physically feel like you've got no one's around you. Yeah. And I think but I felt like I had no one to speak to, or I couldn't speak to anyone, and that was the only way to say I needed help and what was going on, and for it to sort of come to light of what was going on in my own head. Yeah. And was to do that.
Because that then comes down to the stigma of men, isn't it? Like that, it's all embedded into it that we can't talk because we've got to be big, we've got to be tough.
Yeah, no, it is, because it's one of them things. Men don't speak about mental health. And they don't. No one opens up. And it's quite funny because we were playing Cards Against Humanity a couple of weeks ago, and there's a card in the pack that says men's stigma on mental health, and we took it out and we stuck it on my fridge, and it's still there to this day.
Good.
And why we done it is because sort of just to let sort of our mates know that we can speak about it.
It's a reminder every day, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's all it is.
You can speak about it.
Yeah.
But I think it is still to this day like men do feel like they have to be strong. They have to like sort of hold everything together. Like you feel weak, and it's so easy to be told like, yeah, but you need to speak about it. I understand, like, because I never spoke about it. Because sometimes you feel like you've physically got no one to speak to. But I think it all comes down to, like, I think as a man, I think you feel you don't want to be seen as weak.
No, not in the slightest.
It's an embarrassment as well, which is I know it shouldn't be, but you do feel embarrassed, like you're just broken, and like that's something that I've had to sort of learn, like this past sort of, I'd say, 2 years, and that's just by sort of learning that people are there to speak to, and I can sort of speak to people, because I think now because of what I've been through, my mates now come sit in mine, and they'll sit on the couch and they'll open up to me because I've been there, and I can now speak to them and tell them, and give them advice because of sort of my own experience, because I've been there. So I'm grateful that people are coming to me now, because I now know how I made people feel by doing what I done, and it was quite selfish, and I'd rather I'd rather use my own experience now to be able to help people than them do something stupid, than let them know that there is that book. I think what's different is they now know that they've got people to speak to, whereas I think for me, because I'd say no one, when I was going through it, no one's really speaking about mental health, and no one's at all.
It's still like when a thing, was it, around? Because I think my experience with nearly trying to take my own life was, I think it was May 21. Was that when everything opened up again? April 21? Because I went to the gym in April.
So that's 21.
21, so May 21. I remember I was walking home up London roads, and I got to know where the brook is. Yeah, so I was just on the crossing the other side where you used to live, right by you, lad. And I was stood there, and I just seen the cars coming, and I just had the thought of, fuck it, there it is. This is it. And I just went to go and step out, and I was like, and then I thought about everyone, my family and stuff like that. I thought, nah, I need help. Need help here with it. But
I didn't think. I mean, when you done it, you said you think of your family. I didn't.
Yeah.
It was like this. It was like tunnel vision. It was like it was just do that and nothing else. I didn't care about anyone. I didn't even think about the family or the consequences or anything like that. But I think that subconsciously, I was like, I need to do it because I need help. And it sounds a mad thing to say, but I'm grateful that I did do it, because I wouldn't have got the help that I needed. You
could still be there.
Yeah.
Literally, that you could still be in that rut right now.
Yeah.
And it's scary to think that though as well, isn't it? Where you're saying you had to do something like that to be able to get to that stage and now be able to come better. It's how many people didn't come out of that and stuff like that? What makes me now think about, it's are you a lucky one, really, to think about it?
Do you know what? It's nice that you can now use your own personal experience to help other people, to make sure that what you went through, they don't go through that.
Yeah. Do you notice signs in people and stuff like that, where they might be a bit off and kind of thing? That's not like them, but you notice it more because you've been there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I can sense when, when you're around people, you can sense when something's off.
No.
When they're not the usual self, or you'll go from, let's say one of your mates who you might text every day, or they'll ring you every day, and it's like you'd expect a call, because it's just, you do it every day, and then it doesn't happen, and it's like, well, I haven't heard from him for a while. Check in, see what's going on, and then it's like that. I think that's so little things like that is when I sort of notice, maybe something's sort of bothering them, or maybe something's going on. Maybe just I'll give them a ring and just say, listen, are you all right?
Have you come across that a few times, or?
Yeah. But I think I'd say I'm grateful for the group of mates that I've got, because every one of them are all for each other, so supportive for each other, and everyone's always there for each other. And if someone's going through a proper rough time, everyone will rally around and make sure that they know that there's people there for them, and they can't, like, they don't need to feel like that. And then, you know, people would rather them sit. I'd rather someone sit on my couch and cry than that having to go to a train station and jump in front of a train.
Yeah.
Like, I'll sit on, you can cry to me or as much as you want, I'll listen to it, but I'd rather do that than go to your funeral.
Yeah, say, because Paddy said that, didn't he, as well, in the Octagon? Like, I've heard a few people say that. They'd rather me come round and cry and just look like an absolute mess, but as long as they're actually safe and they're going to get through it, it's well better.
And do you know what? It's mad because if someone sort of just pauses, like sits down with you and starts crying and gets everything out, 9 times out of 10, that's all they needed.
Yeah.
Because they'll feel so much like a weight lifted off the shoulder because they've gone from bottling it all up and it's just getting worse and worse and worse to then just releasing it all out for an hour or so, ranting and crying. But because they've actually just spoke about it and got it out, it's like a weight's being lifted off the shoulders. Yeah,
because like at the minute I currently work in a special needs school, so I know the kids are autistic and they struggle with their emotions, so we always try and teach them about it, but we don't do enough about the staff and our own emotions. But we always use this analogy of a Coke bottle. So if you get a Coke bottle and you shake it and you shake it and you shake it, the fizz is going to keep going and going and going, but it's not going to be able to go in it. It's just going to keep tightening up until you actually release it and let it out. And that's just us. That's our emotions. You shake us and shake us. Our emotions build and build and build.
Yeah.
When we release, I'm all right now.
And there's only so much you can take as a person. There's only so much you can bottle in before. I think that's what happened to me. I think I just bottled it in, thinking I could deal with it on my own. Because I probably at first didn't know I was depressed. I didn't that didn't even cross my mind. But I think things just, I bottled it in, and then bottled it and bottled it and bottled it, and then I just came to a breaking point. I think it's just you can only take so much as a person before you break.
You can, and that is any person in the world. Like, the biggest one that still ever come to a shock with me was Robin Williams. He made everyone laugh, everyone cry, everyone smile, but he couldn't cope with himself. Yeah. And like, that really stuck with me, that one.
There's a saying that's like, it's always the loudest person in the room is always the one that's got something going on.
Yeah. It is stuff like that.
Yeah, and it's true, because they always try and make other people happy.
Because they know what it's like to feel sad.
Because they know what it's like to feel sad,
yeah.
Like, and they don't want anyone else to feel like that.
It is, it's absolutely mental when you actually sit down and like think about it. Like, the people that you idolise are still going through it, and then the people that you're talking about day to day. So, like, we just had the fella on talking, and he was in the fire service, and he was talking about like the stigma and stuff like that they can be, but even they go through it. And we spoke about, obviously, if you're on telly and stuff like that, and you're watching something to do with the fire brigades, fire service, firefighter, whatever you want to call them, you see them all like burning fires and stuff like, oh, we're manly men. But he said they'll sit there all night and they could just be playing cards and talking about mental health. And it's like, it's just amazing that like the way so many people are so open about it, but so many people are so enclosed about it as well.
I think though, I'd say it's in this day and age now, I reckon one of the biggest key factors of why people feel like that now though is things like Instagram. Because when you think about it, all Instagram is a big comparing fest. And everyone's like
trying to outdo each other.
Everyone's trying to outdo each other, yeah. But the way someone said the way you got to look at Instagram is, you're not, if you've got like so much shit going on in your life, you're not going to post on Instagram. You're not going to post the bad stuff. You're only going to post the good stuff.
What did I see? Someone said you're watching the highlights of people. That's all you're doing.
Yeah.
Just highlights of their life getting put up.
But I read a book about the Happy Sexy Millionaire, Stephen Bartlett, and he basically, when you read it, he breaks into Instagram, and it's just a one big lie, because it's not a lot of it that you see. You might see someone sat there on a private jet, and you think, oh fucking hell, they're doing way better than me, but it's not. They're not even on a private jet. They're just sat in like a sort of a showroom.
I know what you're on about. I saw that.
Just, and it's like,
I'm not gonna lie, it's so sad in that sense, and I'm sorry if anyone gets offended by that, but I think that's so sad that you've got to portray yourself in that image when you actually can't do it.
People are competing daily.
Yeah.
And you get to the point where people live their lives on social media. you've literally you feel like you're living the life with them, and it's like I don't care. I'm really not bothered if you're going on holiday, or like I'm not bothered. Or stop when people put up, has anyone got any recommendations for like going on holiday? Yeah, it's like, oh, you're going on holiday? We didn't need to know. Sure. It's like, just like no one's bothered.
Yeah. Because that sounds like people are kind of going like, oh yeah, I'm going on a holiday, you're not, but you can tell me where you would recommend to go because you know it's nice there, but I'm going to go anyway.
It's just people just brag.
Yeah.
And that's why I think people are constantly comparing themselves to other people.
Yeah.
Because like, why haven't I got that? Or why haven't I got my own house? Or why aren't I? And I just got promoted in a job. You can't compare yourself to other people.
Yeah. Going back to the book about Stephen Bartlett, because I do want to read that, but I've got so many books that I want to read. Like most of them are sat up there just for appearance at the minute. The books ever like seem to help you and stuff like that? Because I've read the Goggins book, the other David Goggins book. And there was another book, I think it's in mine. It was like Make Your Bed. And I always take like snippets of books.
Yeah.
Don't remember much of them. I don't have that type of memory.
Yeah,
take snippets and it helped me a lot.
Yeah, I think that I do. I'm exactly the same. I'll just remember snippets of the book. I think one of the big ones that helped me was the book, The 5 a.m. Club. And it's basically establishing a healthy morning routine. And, so... You're getting up basically getting up every day at 5 a.m. and you basically the whole point of it is get up at 5 a.m. have a healthy morning routine, and you get basically you're a lot more productive throughout the day. And I sort of started doing it, getting up at 5 a.m. maybe because I like getting up at 5, being in the gym for 6, and then come back to work.
Yeah.
And honestly, like just by waking up those extra 2 hours early, you're much more productive, like mentally, and you get so much more done throughout the day. You feel happier. You're not groggy. It's mad just by doing those little changes in your life that makes a big impact.
For you to start waking up at 5 a.m, did you have to stop doing things to be able to maybe get to bed earlier?
Because I'm not going to lie, and it wasn't an overnight thing. Like, it was a lot of right. I'm setting the alarm 5 a.m.
Yeah.
And it was like, I'll get up at 7. Like, it was a lot of that. And even now, like, I'm out the routine now because it's so hard to stick to. And I do need to get back into it because I'm finding myself. But I'm still doing it now. I'm setting alarms at 5, but I'm just snoozing them. So I just need to sort of get back into that routine again.
Is it actually waking up and getting out of bed? Because I find that then two things that you can wake up at 5, but if you're not going to move, you could be there for half an hour, 45 minutes,
and then get up.
Alarm
goes off and you get groggy.
Yeah.
And then you sort of you can either you've got to push yourself to wake up. Yeah, I wasn't doing that. I was staying in that sort of like half asleep mode.
Oh, yeah.
Just because your head's still on the pillow.
Yeah.
I was just going back to sleep.
Yeah. So, any use onto that Mel Robbins, the American bird, or woman should say, sorry. No, I don't even know what her profession actually is, but she seems to go on like Stephen Bartlett and all them types of things. I think she's like a self-development. But I've seen a video of her where she sets an alarm, she gets up at, I think it was 5 a.m. as well. She went, you can't get out of bed, do this. And she literally just rolled, and just slid out of the bed, and then she hit the deck on the floor and she kind of just crawled to the bathroom. And when she got up, she was like, I'm up now. I struggled to get to the bathroom, but I'm up. And it took her like 2 minutes doing it. And I thought, it's a fucking boss way to get up, I'm not gonna lie. Like, you're up, are you? It's work, but you haven't turned over.
Yeah, it's like, it was weird because I went from getting up at 5, it was weird, getting up at 5 a.m. And so when I got into the routine, it was like, oh, I'm smashing this. I was getting up, I was doing a bit of meditation in the morning, like, smashing life, this is great. And then, like, I'd stay up then the night before, like, watching, like, Netflix till 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
So it's so easy just to lose it. But you just, like, you go from, like, I'm smashing, like, this is great, this is so much more productive, to, like, I'm getting out of bed like 5 minutes before work. It's just...
Did you actually see the difference then with that?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. You do see the difference.
Yeah.
You as a person, like, it's just mentally, like, you you're not happier, you're in a better mental frame of mind because you're a lot less groggy throughout the day.
Yeah.
You're not getting stressed. Like, I think when you just roll out of bed of a morning, I think like little things can just annoy you throughout the day, and you can just get stressed. But by doing it was like there was no stress. Like nothing got to you. It was more. You were a lot more productive. It did work, but I think I didn't start seeing the effects until like I'd say 4 or 5 days into doing it.
Yeah.
But it only lasted 2 weeks. So
at least you had a good week.
Yeah, I had a great positive week. Yeah. But like I do need to get back into it again. It's hard. But
it is tough to wake up, but it's one of them. If you can get to bed earlier, obviously that's the biggest factor you can do, because you do get your kip in. Especially if you go to bed about, let's say 9, something like that. You're still getting your right. But that's where you gotta force yourself. You've got to put your phone down. You've got to. One thing I find really good to put me a kip is reading. So obviously, if you just read, and like after like 20 minutes or something, my head's like going, and now I can fall asleep with the book in my hands.
Yeah.
But if you do start getting to bed earlier, lad, you can do it.
Do you know what I was doing? I laugh at it now, but it did help me sleep. I was putting like white noise on, right? And then putting the phone like under my pillow and just falling asleep. And it knocks you out straight away, you know? It's boss. It sounds so weird though, because if someone walked in, you just like lying there listening to white noise on your face, like whale noises and like raindrops. It's like, oh, what's going on? It's like you lost the plot.
The question is though, did your phone die in the middle of the night?
Okay, I left it on charge.
That's dangerous.
I know. I'm bad for leaving my phone on charge.
That's what shit. Yeah, leave it on charge, like.
No, but like underneath.
Yeah, you're living life on edge there, you know.
Yeah.
One little spark.
It's gone.
Yeah. You're waking up bored because all your head's been burnt off.
Probably wake up.
I was just gonna say.
Go ahead.
So have you ever read the book Atomic Habits?
That's on Amazon.
That's on the list.
Yeah, it's on the list to read. Yeah.
So I've read some of it. I've not read all of it, but they were saying about these little habits that you do through the day can have such a bigger impact on the rest of your day. So doing like the little things like getting up early, making sure that you've got like a fresh glass of water. It takes 3 weeks for these habits to actually.
21 days. It takes 21 days. It takes for a habit to get into your system, in a sense, to become normal.
Well, have you got it? Is it little changes? Is it?
Yeah, it's so like you were saying, get up at 5 in the morning, and then just make sure you got your breakfast. You go on the gym, because you wouldn't be doing that otherwise.
Yeah.
So maybe that's a book that you should maybe have a little read on.
Yeah, it's in my Amazon basket. It's I'm reading at the minute that's subtle art. That's subtle art, not give a fuck. And it's basically just the whole key points from it is just sort of that you don't have to be positive 24/7.
I feel like I've got that book now that you're saying it. But go on, let me interrupt you. I have to say that out loud.
It's basically just like you don't have to be positive 24/7.
No.
Like you don't have to be happy every day. Like and it's true.
I know people like that.
It
too
sounds
happy.
Mad, but the book basically tells you just don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
No matter what happens to you, don't give a fuck. And it's like, why didn't I learn about this sooner?
Because one thing was, I think it was Tony Bellew or something like that, and I saw a story about him. He went to an airport and apparently he was running late. And then something happened, I think it was his passport or whatever, or his luggage, and someone, you're going to have to wait here. And someone came over to him and said, you're going to have to come with us to this place. I think it was like some type of check or whatever. And he was like, yeah, son. Kept going. And someone went, how are you not stressed out? Like, you're going to be late for your flight here. And he's like, well, I'm not in control of it. And if I'm not in control of it, then I can't stress out about it, can I? Because I can't change it. And I was like, I'm going to start taking that. So if anyone ever stresses out, I always say to them, can you make a change to the situation? If they go, yeah, go, all right, don't need to stress because you can change it. Can you change it? No, but don't stress then because you cannot physically do anything.
Yeah. And how many, do you know what, when you think about it, how many times have we all done it?
Yeah.
Where we just, like, especially if you're running late for the airport or something like that, and you just...
People just hit that panic button and it just goes off.
Yeah, and you just spiral.
Yeah.
Like, if someone's asking for the time, you start shouting at them.
Get your own fucking watch.
Yeah,
every time I'm just thinking about Home Alone right now. Like with all pelting it through the airport now, like.
Still leave him behind though, don't they?
Which?
Still leave him behind.
Yeah, but we didn't get Home Alone though, would we? If he didn't leave him behind.
I would love to be left Home Alone as a kid.
Yeah. I can imagine that, but to be fair, I got scared of walking up the stairs in the dark, so I'm alright.
If someone tries to rob the house though, just take what you want. I'm not just going to stop you.
Yeah, I'd be like that, I'm going on to my PlayStation.
I just hide under the bed.
But we'll go back to the books, I feel like we're on a good roll there. One thing I want to ask you is what are your top 3 books that's helped you? Or top 3 snippets?
So, I'd say Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. The Stephen Bartlett, Happy Sexy Millionaire, and the 5am Club. Yeah, definitely. I'd say, to be fair, I could probably add The Secret into there as well. Just snippets of it, but I think a lot of what the Secret's telling you is incorporated in a lot of these other books.
Is the book The Secret, and like I don't want to sound stupid asking this, but like, is that a book you're not meant to tell people like what it's about because it's a secret?
Yeah, it's weird. It's like it's supposed to be like the key to unlocking a successful life, but it's a secret. But it's not a secret because everyone knows about it. Yeah.
I mean, fair enough. I've always wanted to ask someone that, but then wanted to pop up and go, "Hey, is that book actually like a secret, or can you tell me what the plot is?"
I think it's like the secret to life.
Yeah.
Basically.
That's deep, that.
But there's people who live by it. Like who literally live by that book in everything that they do in day-to-day life.
I mean, fair enough, because like with yourself, you try to get up at 5 a.m. last of the week. So if people are able to do that, that takes some energy.
Yeah, like
that
if you can
takes
do it,
energy.
You deserve all the credit in the world because, like, yeah, I only lasted a week, 2 weeks. Back to waking up at 8 9 o'clock in the morning.
Was you up there and like throwing on your Insta? Hi guys, it's 6 a.m. Just been off, family breakfast, meditation.
Selfies, just like not even put a caption. You just sat there like that,
yeah.
just like seeing the gym. Just let everyone know I'm in the gym 7 o'clock in the morning.
Putting like the timestamp and everything on it. Anyone recommend a good gym for 4 a.m. in the morning?
Nice latte.
Walking in the rain, who cares? Like Goggins mode.
Do you know what? I'll probably get guilty of doing posts like that, though. You know.
I think probably we all at one point. Yeah. I mean, there's no getting away from it. It's social media. It's all adders at one point.
Yeah, I feel like you've got to join them a little bit.
Yes, you're missing out, aren't you?
Yeah.
You got to see if it's for you.
Got to join in the fun a little bit.
Yeah, like, just a little bit. You got to see if it's for you. It's not for you.
Yeah,
something like that.
Let people know I'm going on holiday. little plain selfie and that.
Taking pictures of the window aisle and all that.
It's just the toilet seat. Have you seen that one?
Nah.
There's the toilet seat and they lift it up. And like basically it's an illusion people would do, putting on social media.
Yeah.
Like it's a white toilet seat, and then they were like basically putting it out a window, and it looked like someone was taking it, like when you take a photo of a plane out the window. So it looked like he was sat on an aisle seat. And it was a toilet seat. Oh, it's hysterical. Honestly, the lengths people go to just for.
Isn't it like people do that for like social media, mainly Instagram? Well, of course, we know, but like they put on like this proper persona, don't they? That they are someone like.
Have you seen the Will Smith one that got put out a couple of days ago?
No.
There's the weird video that Will Smith put out where he basically says everything's not real. Have you seen it?
Like,
isn't it weird?
The whole thing's like
the whole like he's like I'm here in is he on like Bahamas or something? Yeah, and then he just goes it's a lie, and then like green screen drops, and then like his edited face just goes back to like normal.
Yeah.
It's weird, and he's basically just saying it's like a cryptic message, isn't it? And he's like you're being lied to. You've been lied to for years. Everything's fake, and it's just the video ends. Weird. How
many people do you reckon took that like to the next level? Like proper like try to figure things out and all that.
Oh yeah, like people being underground bunkers now.
I'm not gonna lie, I wish I had an underground bunker. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd live in it, mate.
Yeah. To be honest, I was looking at the studio before when I was putting my coat on after we got back and thought, if I had a bed in here, I'd move in. Like I would. That'd make this a proper man cave.
Just going to Costco getting trolleys for like cokes and that.
Yeah. Just storing it. But what I was going to say about the social media before, about the persona and people like taking it to like the next level. Do you reckon we've got like, and this goes out to all four of you, do you Do you reckon this goes, well, all three of you should say, because I can't include himself. We've got too many negative role models in today and age. And the ones that pop up that people seem to like for a bit get shot on. So I'm not condoning what he said was right or whatever, but people did take to him. Like Andrew Tate, you know, the Tate brothers, a lot of people took to them and stuff like that. But do you reckon that like all these new people coming up and trying to do a positive thing in the world is also having a big negative thing?
Because the thing with like Andrew Tate though, he knew, like, in terms of everything he was saying, he that made him bigger.
Yeah.
Because he was getting the publicity, he was causing some of the stuff he said. Don't get me wrong, not everything he says is like
mental out of there, controversial. Yeah.
But like the stuff that he was saying that was controversial, like he was feeding off it because it was making him just bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and then everywhere wanted him. Everyone wanted an interview with him. Everywhere you looked, he was there. It's people. I think people just do it for. It's all personal gains. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Because without that, like even the when he was under house arrest and he was doing all them videos and everything, like people were fuming. He was caught, but it was he was benefiting him every day.
He's like a proper internet troll, isn't he? That's all he was. He was an internet troll that got under people's skins, that hated them, and he thrived off it. Yeah. But do you reckon that we've got like actual good role models in this world?
Yeah. He's probably he is, isn't he?
Do you reckon, have you come across anyone that you thought he could be a good role model in the agency?
Honestly,
you have to just say someone, you know, because otherwise they're watching you. They're going, what do you mean, lad?
No, because I think it's sad to say in this industry, everyone's out for themselves as well.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And it is like dog eat dog. It's a vicious industry. It's a toxic industry, and people. Like I understand why people sort of have nervous breakdowns or like can't deal with rejection, because it's an industry where you're constantly rejected.
Yeah.
So I think people I've in terms of role models, I think if you can deal with that constant rejection, which happens every day before you get that one role.
Yeah.
I'd say if you've got someone who can deal with it and take on the chin, then look up to them and take advice from them.
Yeah, there's no way you're saying then, like, essentially it's a free for all by the sounds of things. Sorry, does that affect you in any way, or do you know this is just business? You can take it on the chin, or if people maybe be a bit ratty or anything like that in that aspect?
I'd say not necessarily. So it's not necessarily sort of the like when the actors are all competing against each other when they go for the auditions.
Yeah,
but they're not necessarily competing against each other, so say, because they might go. They're all going into audition rooms at different times. I'd say there's a lot of casting directors who are very vicious, and it's not because that they're just nasty or horrible. It's just it's one of them industries where you can get away with saying things that you couldn't in a normal job. Like I've heard before, like if somebody's like, you haven't got the role, why? You're too fat.
Yeah.
But for some people like that's they're gonna have a negative effect on them. But other people, I've now just got so accustomed to it. I mean, we're now sort of 2023. It's more like it's not sort of as toxic as that anymore, because I think the way the world is at the minute, obviously there's a lot more. You can't get away with that sort of stuff anymore. But like it does still happen. Does it still happen quite often recently, or like any recent times that you've had? Yeah, I mean, when I auditioned a couple of years ago for The Lion King in the West End, and my personal experience, like I know what it's like I've never met people so like horrible, like in terms of like. People are just snotty, nasty, they don't care about you, like they don't even look you in the eye, like at all. it's a mad world. But you take it on the chin because you want the job. So you're not going to say you just get on with it and do it. And you just think you get accustomed to it. But I think it is still one of them, like, yeah, I'd say it is. It does still happen. It probably is. It's still a very toxic industry. But I think, you know, you can sort of have, like they have like annual conferences and things every year where they talk about like how they can tackle this in the industry and how they can tackle that in the industry. But like slowly but surely, like things are getting better, but it's still going on.
Yeah. Do you reckon that'll ever change though? Like, especially the way day and age is now at the minute, and the world is a very sensitive place. I think we can all agree on that. Yeah. But do you reckon that ever will get better, or do you reckon the comments like "you can't do this, why? Because you're too fat"? It's a harsh thing to say to someone, especially in that moment. But do you reckon that's where the make or break actors come through if they really want it?
Yeah, I think if it's one of them as well. Like, you look at it from two aspects. Like, if someone turn around and say you haven't got the role because you're too fat, but then you look at it like that's really harsh. You can't say that, like blah blah. But then you've got to think about the industry that it is. So you've been given a role. This character's being created.
Yeah.
We know the size, the shape, their hair colour, how they speak, what they have for breakfast. That character's being made.
Yeah.
So it's not like that they know what they're looking for. It's not like you could just submit, like anyone can just go for the role. They know what they're looking for. So it's one of them. It's like, well, like you could look at, for instance, people might, like from an agent point of view, I think that's where you've got to sort of really look into the finer detail and of what they're looking for. Because it's happened before where like people like white people are going for an audition for Michael Jackson the musical.
Yeah.
It's an all black cast.
Yeah.
And it's like, what, like, and they're getting there and like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
So I think, like, people, if people just need to maybe pay a little bit more attention
to what they're looking for, so they're just turning up.
But then you've got, look, casting directors have been going, like, some of them have been around for years. Look, they're old school. And the old habits never die. So
yeah. So I work with someone like that.
They're now trying to accustom to a completely new society where you can't say things. I mean, look, people go to comedy clubs and then complain.
Yeah, I don't get that. I really don't. That's one thing that will always batter my head. You're going somewhere to go and see a comedian, take the piss, and say certain dark humour jokes, and then complain. That's a proper trigger for me. So I gotta get off.
It is, man. You get like, but yeah, I think it is one of them. It is changing and getting better, but I think I think it does take just a strong person. It's a make or break industry.
Yeah, I think it's harsh as shit. It really is, and you won't want anyone to say a proper comment about you, especially if you're like really subconscious about it. But it's healthy if you are a strong person, because you can walk away and go, well, if I'm too fat, I'm gonna go and get in shape.
Yeah,
I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna show them wrong.
And if you can deal with all them rejections and still go to audition after audition after audition, then that's literally the person you gotta be, because they do say to you, even when you're training, you're gonna get more rejections than you are ever gonna get jobs. Because it's mad. So like Hollywood films, like Tom Hanks could goes auditions for the same role that Leonardo DiCaprio's auditioning for. Yeah. They all still go head to head. They still have to audition for it and get told no, yes, no, and they're
the biggest names in the world.
So they constantly deal with rejection.
But that's why they're there though as well, isn't it? Yeah. Because they're willing to fail in order to succeed.
But I think it makes you hungry.
Yeah, it does. It really does. Like this, for me personally, made me hungry because I've been talking about it with my half fella for like 3 years. But it's, have you got a place to go? No. Have you got the equipment? No. And like everything's a setback. Oh, do you reckon we try and get it done next month? Yeah, okay. 3 months has gone by. and it made me hungrier and hungrier. So like that's why like this weekend I've got 3 bookings because I just want people in.
Yeah.
I want to do the work. So when it comes to acting, you've got to be hungry to go back because you want to get an audition. You've got to be, I've got 5 auditions in one day because I want to get
you
one.
You want to make it, and that's all you want to do. Like that, if that's what you want to do as a career, like it's if you can deal with the rejections, then look, you're not going to get rejected for the rest of your life. All it takes is one yes, and then that's it. It's just literally one audition can change your life forever. And if you're willing to deal with them rejections to get to that point, then perfect. That's the right frame of mind that you need to be in.
Yeah, because like I always say to myself, I'm failing my way to succeed. I'm going to keep failing, and then one day, no, it's going to work.
And you just got to fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
Literally.
That is another thing. You do fake it till you make it, especially in the acting world, because you're being someone that you know.
Yeah, literally. But I think it's the only good thing about the acting world is, even if you're you could be the most awkwardest or shyest person as a person, but when you go into them auditions, you're not you. You're a completely different person. You're playing a character, so people come off the shells and sort of you forget themselves a bit, and it's like when you like theatre, like you're not watching those people. They're playing different people.
Yeah. So
it's like a sense of magic.
It is, because like when I was saying about the first lad who came on episode 1, where he is an actor and he's just gone to LMA, he said he'd done a role, I think it was his most recent play that he'd done, that he got into the character that much that after it he had like a proper like post-stage depression in a sense, where like he couldn't speak to anyone for a week because like the character took over him that much that he had like this big massive adrenaline, done the performance, and then nothing.
And so
still with him.
So what he's done is there's different methods, there's different sort of ways to approach acting. So there's the Stanislavski approach, which is method acting, and basically what you do is you become that character. Yeah. You live and breathe it every day. So it happened to Heath Ledger playing the Joker.
Yeah, that's what we spoke about.
That's why he killed himself, because he became the Joker. And there's a lot of people that do that, just to become sort of the character. Yeah, so you'll get like Stephen Graham for Boiling Point. He went and worked in Michelin star restaurants and in kitchens. So it's, I mean, the Heath Ledger thing, I think the characters of the Joker just got to a point where I think it was just that intense. That he was locking himself in a hotel room every day. Yeah, I
heard something about that on Reddit somewhere, that he was doing that.
He was locking himself. He wouldn't come out. He'd only come out to film and then he'd go back in because he didn't want to be disturbed.
Yeah.
He was the Joker. But it's if you can master it, the sort of the Stanislavski approach, then it's an unbelievable skill to have as an actor. Unbelievable.
As an agent and someone who's doing Baltic Management, sorry, would you find that hard to deal with? Because obviously if they're having like them effects after acting and then you want to go and get them new work, but they might not be themselves, how would you deal with that?
So I'd say, as an agent, you're like a mum and dad. So you're not just getting people's jobs, you're managing careers, you're managing people's health and well-being. You're there to, if they need to pick up a phone to you, or they need a conversation, that's what you're there for. You're there to look after them, guide them, and be there for them. And I think in this day and age, the tools are out there if people do need the help, you can point them in the right direction to get it. And part of your job as an agent is to is your client's welfare. So it's like you're not just it's like you're a counsellor and an agent. But there's more to just submitting people for jobs and getting people for work. You managing people's literally physical day-to-day well-being. Because obviously the production company that they're working for has also got responsibility for them. But at the end of the day, once they finish working on that job, they might not work for that production company anymore, but they're still going to be with you. So it's all about sort of just like looking out for them, checking in, making sure everyone is all right. Just a little pick up of a phone call, a little email every now and then, and just making sure that even things like getting like rejections after auditions.
Yeah.
That little one phone call just make or a little sit down meeting where you say, listen, like it's fine, like you're gonna know. We pick it up and we move again.
Mm-hmm.
It just helps that people get that little bit of confidence boost back as well.
Does that drive you more to then go and work a bit extra harder for that person? Like,
yeah, because it's when when someone secures a job, you're so happy for them, like because it's life changing for them, but also it's a sense of like you do a little happy dance in your head because you the part you've had to play as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, to be honest, it all credit due to the actor because you've got them the sort of the casting, but it's them that's put all the work in the preparation. It's them that's actually got the role.
Mm-hmm.
So you're made up. It's like you're a proud mum. That's what it is. It's like your kid's first day at school. Like you just want everyone to succeed and do well.
Yeah.
I was just going to say there, do you reckon with your experience with what you've gone through yourself, do you reckon that's why you want to have such a one-to-one, close-knit agency?
Yeah, and I think it's more as well coming from like experience from when I had an agent as well, because you've got people who are on the books, and an agent might have like 50 clients, and you get lost in the mist, and you just felt like
another number.
Yeah, and I've seen the difference in doing the way we are doing it with Baltic. Like when you're sitting down with people to come on board at the agency, and you're telling them how it runs in the day to day and sort of the structure and the sort of the family feeling to it. People like every single person's just smiled because they've never had that before. There's agencies where people don't you might not even get an email or a phone call off them for 6 months. But like just that one email a week or a little text message, little check-in, it goes a long way, and it makes people feel appreciative, like they're not getting lost in a system or lost in a sort of a industry has thousands of people.
Yeah, because they don't want to feel like a number, do they?
No.
But none of us do. Like when we go to we want to be known as going on John O'Arby or going on Joe. What's going on? It's kind of like the same name there. Going on Derek. But it's like you wanna feel that you're actually a part of whatever it is that you're in there of.
Yeah.
So like when you go into a workplace, you don't want to be known. So like I work in a school. You can get away with calling someone sir or miss because you're being professional, but you don't need to know the name because sometimes you don't even have to talk to them. But it's like someone coming in going, "Oh, you're right, Louis," something like that. Like I've just been off work stress for like 2 weeks, and got back in. No one knows I'm really coming back in, but one of the lads comes over, gives me a hug. "How you doing?" Pat on the back. We got on with our day. One fella's just walking past, and as I'm coming downstairs, he stops and just looks at me, and I think, but he's a funny guy, so I thought he's going to say like some type of comment. So I didn't know he knew I was off, and he just stood there and just give me a hug.
Yeah.
And then just give me a pat. And it's like you want to feel loved, you want to feel welcomed, you want to feel a part of.
And that's what
Baltic
we're doing.
Management.
Like, we're doing something that like every month. We're sending breakdowns of all the jobs that we've submitted that individual person for to them via email, so they can literally see that just so they know the work's being put in for them, see all the jobs are being submitted for, and they know that everything is getting done in the background. There's nothing worse than sitting there, you haven't heard from your agents unless you've got a casting, and you're like, what are they actually doing? Yeah. So even just that doing that once a month, people are like, wow, they are putting the work in, and they can see the evidence, they've got it in an email. Yeah. So just little things like that go a long way.
So it's good what you're doing, lads. Like, it's really, really got me on strings. I said strings because I looked at the guitar before I looked at you. Yeah, lad, but it's good because like it's a different approach as well. Like what you were saying before, a lot of stuff's corporate. A lot of businesses are. I can only imagine what the agency world's like, where everyone might just be a number, like I said. But the fact that you're taking that time, you're showing them that you are. Well, in Josie, you've done really well this month, but like, here's all your stuff and all that now you're doing and all that. Is anything that you didn't like? That what do you want to try and find and stuff, like tailoring the approach that it's good. It's good for their mental health as well, lads.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, no one needs to be like. Obviously, there's thousands of agencies out there, but like, no one needs to be in competition. It's not a competition. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
you're all there for the same purpose.
Literally, we're all there with the same purpose, the same goal for clients. Like, no one needs to be sort of in competition with each other at all.
Yeah.
Literally, because what's the point? There's no, like, it's not going to get you anywhere.
That is the thing, but it's weird because we're all kind of. It's nature in us to be competitive in that sense.
Yeah,
it's so strange.
Like, they're bigger and better, don't you? But
yeah,
it's like at the end of it, you've all got the same end goal.
Yeah, which it is, lads. And by the time January comes and then you've got 2024 to hit, lad, I think you're going to be hitting some goals because you sound like the person that's going to make them happen.
I hope so. You know. Yeah. Like it's yeah, that's the vision.
Make sure you get up at 5 a.m. though every day.
Well, this is why if I start getting into it a routine now, getting up at 5 a.m. and these castings in January, 2024 is going to be a big year.
Yeah. What else is coming up then for Baltic Management? Because I know before we touched up about Studio Funk as well, so obviously we'll interlink them if we need to. Right now we're talking individually. What's next then for Baltic Management? You're going to carry on with the grind, or you're trying to change anything, whatever?
No, so I think now it's just getting the sort of foundations in place. So in terms of getting our clients on the books, a mixture of a very diverse clientele. Because what
does that need? Range from? What is
so sort of different skin colours, different nationalities, people with disabilities.
Yeah.
Literally a mixture of all sorts of different people in your books, because you never know what role or character is going to come up next.
Yeah.
So as long if you've got at least one person to be able to submit, then at least you're in the running for it.
Yeah.
So it's just right now building the clientele up, getting everything in place. But obviously that necessarily doesn't need to be in place by January, because that's we'll take people on throughout the year as well.
Yeah.
So with that, but it's just making sure that we've got at least enough clientele for come January, and then we can sort of hit the ground running even further. But like I say now, what we've got so far, we've got auditions coming in, which is good. So it little things are happening, but we just need to build on that come January.
How many people do you need? Were you saying you need enough clientele? How many do you need?
It's not really a specific number. I'd say just as long as you've got you need a mixture of different artists. You need a mixture of actors. You need a mixture of people who are triple threats, so that's musical theatre artists, so they can sing, dance and act. So a mixture of those, like people at different heights, different skin colours, different nationalities, because like I say, it when you just sort of go onto sort of the casting database, it is very diverse in terms of different sort of roles, because you might have a casting that's looking for a 4-year-old, but then you might have another casting that's casting for it needs 3 people of Indian heritage. So as long as it's more, just make sure that you've got obviously a diverse sort of clientele, and I think it helps you as an agency to be able to put people up for it, just to and different hair colours and everything else. You've got to take all that into account. It's people you just need to make sure that you've got the people to be able to submit, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So basically it's on about how many people you got. It's how many different types of people that you've got in that sense, in a nutshell. Yeah.
It's literally just as long as you've got a good, you could have 20 people on your books, as long as you've got a good range of people, with different skin colours, different nationalities, then perfect.
It opens more doors for you then, doesn't it, as well? Exactly. That's exactly what it is,
It doesn't limit us to certain things.
Yeah, just good.
Because obviously we don't want to be limited, because we want people to be able to be put up for those jobs.
Yeah.
So that's, and so we can be in the running with the likes of these big agencies in Manchester and London. So, but again, I think that's just all it comes down to, putting the foundations in place, and even throughout next year, just building and building and building, and growing really.
Fair enough. You mentioned before we started this, about Studio Funk, and you did want to talk about it. When did you join Studio Funk? Like, how did that come across? Because obviously you're in acting, and from what I've saw, Studio Funk seems to be a lot of events and music and stuff, doesn't it?
So Studio Funk, one of a good mate of mine, he's business is Studio Funk.
Yeah.
So how I got involved with Studio Funk, so I used to work in town 2015, 2016, and I sort of fell into doing events. So I had my own events company. So we were doing the likes of we signed a contract like Sonny Fadira, so we brought Sonny Fadira to Underground, which was a massive sellout. It was to go with like hashtag Sonny Fadira on the night, like on Twitter, because people wanted tickets. And then I started doing like other little events with like that was sort of the EDM era, so I had like futuristic polar bears. And,
what a duo! What a duo!
And then we were doing we hosted a stage in Lost in Time in Victoria Warehouse. So we so it was sort of a time when there was a lot of people putting events on in the city. Everyone has an events company. It was like, remember when everyone used to make t-shirts and caps?
Yeah.
It was like that. Everyone has an event. Everyone was putting an event on. But I like, it was sort of because I was working within sort of nightlife. It just made sense. I just enjoyed it. But then we were doing like events in Ibiza in 2016. We done like events in Savannah, which is Mambo's sister club, for like Radio 1 week. So I just had the knowledge and experience of running those events and working with different clubs in town, doing events. And then when Studio Funk was formed, so the Studio Funk done their first event, I think, a couple of 2 years ago maybe, maybe 3 years ago, and like the first event actually done really well. Like it didn't have sort of anyone big. It was all local artists.
Yeah.
But the support that I got was great. And then my mate, Bobby, Bobby, who you know, Bobby approached me and said, "Look, we were talking about it after Bobby's first event, and we said, like, what could we do to then now take this to the next step?" So because of my experience dealing with agents and sort of DJs themselves, so it's quite, when you're booking a DJ, so let's say the likes of Sonny Fadira, when you're approaching, you send their agent an email, and the first thing they come back with is, who have you booked before? And because they want to see the stuff you've done and venues you've worked with. So because of my sort of past experience, I had that under my belt. So it made it a lot easier to book DJs and deal with these agents. So we booked. So I got involved last year actually with Studio Funk, and it was when we booked off our first headliner, which was Route 94. So we done Route 94 in Checkpoint Charlie in the Baltic, which was such an amazing night. And then and then just ever since, I've sort of just been like just helping Bobby along the way, and sort of if he needs any help, and sort of like even on like the events himself, like just standing on the door, I'll do all the tickets, or like just liaising with, like, if any lights need to, like we all chip in and get the event up and running. But I actually, more fair, I just do it help them out because I enjoy it still. It's just fun, and it's nice to see like people are just having a good time as well, really.
Yeah, because you are a curator, aren't you? That's what you are. You create things for people. You create paths, you create events, you create memories.
Yeah.
Really, that's a good way to look at it, because it's one of them. If you want to go and pay 30, 40 quid for a ticket for an event, people go and have a great time. But you can go for free, help out, see your mates do well, and get a buzz off it. Yeah. As well.
Yeah, and we've, like, lately, so we've been quite lucky. So we've actually done it. We done an event last month in at Portobello in Ormskirk.
Yeah.
Fantastic venue. They loved it that much that we've now been invited to do an event every month. So we do Studio Funk every month now in Portobello.
Love that.
And and even that, like, it was no one big. We just got young kids on, up and coming DJs, and the support that we had for it was unbelievable. Like, people were just coming out and supporting all these local DJs, And I think what we really found is that there's a lot of event companies in Liverpool, but there's not much in Ormskirk. So we found another gap in the market within Ormskirk. But it's really just, I mean, like we all still do our normal jobs, but I think Studio Funk is just one of the things, because like we just enjoy it. We enjoy seeing people happy. We enjoy putting on good nights. And you know, like when you see it on social media and people post it on stories and people are like, oh, you're going to the Studio Funk, or how good was that? It just makes you happy. It's just, you know, it keeps you occupied as well.
It does. It ruins the 5 a.m.s, but it does keep you.
Yeah, you're getting in a 5 a.m. instead.
Have you had the conversation about maybe how far you can take it, or you just don't want to have that convo because you're just enjoying it?
So in terms of where Studio Funk is at the moment, we're doing a lot of free events as well. So my Baltic Management actually ties in a little bit with Studio Funk.
Good, I like that.
We obviously not just look after actors, we look after comedians and DJs.
Yeah.
So I look after get DJs in different sort of venues across the city and get them at different events, etc. So it all realistically ties in together. And things like, so we were in Lost in Lark Lane the other week, and then back in Portobello this month. But we're doing, basically what we're doing is we're doing a lot of free events, because the reason behind it is it's more for marketing, because we want to do loads of free events. We want people to come, enjoy themselves, have a good time, and then really just get the Studio Funk name out there. So people are like, oh, that Studio Funk, that was really good, that they put on a good party. So if you booked a big DJ and put on events and where people do have to buy tickets for, then they already know who Studio Funk is. They know they throw on a good night, and they're more likely to buy tickets. So everything sort of is happening. It's like it's all falling into place for the bigger picture.
I like that though, because it's not happening too fast. You just can keep up with the pace of it. You just can control the pace of it. And if it does seem to blow up for like Bobby and yourself and whoever else is involved in it, that it's going to be them exciting times, but you just have that chance to go, no, we can either keep control of it and keep going with it, or no, fuck it, let's do it. So I like the idea of that. If it's all going slow, you can control it.
And it's more like, obviously, because of Bobby and his girlfriend Meg, like both of them are DJs, they're both great DJs, and it's just people just doing it like because people they enjoy it. It's literally just for enjoyment. Like even like the free events we're doing, obviously we're not making any money on them, but no, it's not about the money. It's just fun. It's just good nights, and it's good people, good energy. And if people come away and have a good time, that's all.
It's one of them. You don't always need to be making money. Like this right now, I'm not making a fucking penny off it, but I'm loving it. I'm enjoying it.
It's literally not about the money.
Yeah.
As long as you enjoy it, that's the main thing.
It's one of them. If the money does come, because obviously we need money, but if the money comes from it, that's a bonus.
Yeah. No, it is.
Yeah. Literally. It's absolutely boss. But how long have we been rolling for?
1:28.
1:30. Have you got anything else that you might want to talk about? So do you reckon we've covered everything? Or is there anything you want to touch back up on again? Or anything you want to put out there yourself?
I think we've sort of gone through everything, you know.
Yeah, we've bounced between everything. Because I've been looking, like, thinking, what I was like, talked about.
I think we
spoke about that.
Touch base on loads.
Yeah. Last question then.
Yeah.
Are the people come and work for Baltic Management, and are the people come and work at Studio Funk? If anyone's like, fuck that, I want that.
Yeah, so in terms of any DJs who, for instance, Studio Funk, if any DJs wanted to sort of maybe go on get added to a Studio Funk lineup, they could literally message the Studio Funk page on Instagram. Just literally just at Studio Funk Presents, and because I think that's what sort of we do at the moment. So people who have messaged the page, when we put the events on, we'll message them and say, look, you know you reached out to us. Do you want to come on and do you want to come on the next lineup and things like that? So if anyone sort of DJs want to come on Studio Funk, that's literally all they need to do.
Love that.
But then exactly the same with Baltic Management. Literally go on the so our website at the moment is still in the process of being is done. So once it's done, you could be able to go on the Baltic Management website and you'll be able to either fill in a form for representation. At the minute, you just go onto the Baltic Management either sort of Instagram, just send us a little DM, and then take it from there.
Oh.
Yeah.
And drank at the wrong time, then. Yeah. Well, John, what I'll do as well, I'll put everything, all the links and stuff like that, into the comments on this for you. That sounds. Yeah. And I'll also put like an email or something like that. So if anyone is watching, obviously they can then go down to the comments, find links to their Instagram. Are you on anything else? Or is it mainly Instagram based?
Yeah, so in terms, so Studio Funk's mainly Instagram based. Baltic Management is obviously Instagram.
Yeah. But will be website.
Will be website. A lot of Baltic Managements will be, once the website's up and running, it'll be email and website.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sound then? Well, hopefully by the time this goes out,
it should all be up and running.
I'll all be up and running, lads. Yeah. Right then, John, lad. Happy that you've came on. Thanks for reaching out, lad. And I've actually proper enjoyed this.
No, thank you for having me. I've really enjoyed it.
It's been a good time. Joe, do your part, lad. All done.